the only product manager here. You're a product manager here. Raise your hand.
So Anthony has over 3 years of experience and he has led product in fintech, payments, e-commerce, the currency, blockchain. People should be proud. It's not easy. It's not easy. He has a proven track record of leading cross-functional team, collaborating with stakeholders, and delivering desired results.
So
It's
let's
about time. It's about to go
Thank you,
down.
man.
let's listen to Tony.
Thank you. Please don't make that mistake again.
It is Anthony.
Hi everyone. It's actually nice to be here. My name is Anthony, by the way. I'm a product manager. Led a couple of product teams in the Web3 space as well. So, but first of all, before I go ahead, to actually talk about driving adoption through building usable products in Africa, I want to know, like, more like what I do when I always go to speak at events. I want to know, like, my audience, probably their career paths. Like, let me just get like the quorum, like, the numerical strength of various people, focusing on various things. For instance, if you're a developer, can you be it Web3, Web2? If you're a developer here, I'll have a lot of developers in the house. Nice. Uh, DevRel. Okay. One. Okay. Two. Okay. Product designers. Okay. Web2 or Web3 is fine. What am I missing? Product managers. You product manager. Okay. All right. No product managers. Nice. QA. QA. Awesome. Nice. What am I missing? DevOps. None. Okay, DevOps. Nice. Awesome. Okay, so basically the thing is that, like, for me, I'm usually very passionate about not just building, but building something that can be adopted and used as well. Because when you think about it, what's the essence of building without adopting what you built, right? I tell people this a lot. Web3, as it is, right, is still new in Africa, right? We're still in the early stages. And then we need to also understand, why should we adopt Web3 products? Why is it important to actually build that, right? So, which is actually the essence of the stock, basically in Africa. So that also goes to ask the next question. Why do you think we should adopt, let's say, crypto products, blockchain, like or Web3 per se? Why do you think we should adopt that based on what we already have? You want to say something? Oh, yeah, it's a question I'm asking. Why should we adopt that? But wait, do you guys understand what adoption is? You understand what adoption is? Like, you can, I mean, adopt a child or something like that. So, why do you guys think we should adopt, let's say, for instance, adopt using a particular stable coin or cryptocurrency? Why do you guys think we should do that, basically? What are the essence? What are the advantages per se? Can anyone answer that? Maybe I could start with that, then I could go further. I'm just trying to make this as interactive as possible so that you understand what I'm trying to drive home. Anyone? Okay. I think, okay, maybe I should get this. All right.
So like the transparency in the blockchain provides us a lot.
Okay, transparency. Keyword. Awesome. Any other person? Okay, no other person. All right, that's fine. I think one of the things, transparency, just like you mentioned. Just for instance, imagine the government is actually using stable coins to do stuff. Recently they said we got an investment of like $30 billion or so, since they actually got into government, which I don't know whether I don't know what's about that. But then imagine a situation whereby we could actually trace that and really see whether this is actually true, right, in a public domain, right? What do you think that could actually do for us? That could actually eliminate any level of not being transparent with regards to what you're doing, right? So I think it makes sense. basically, that's one of the reasons why adoption is important. Sorry. Okay, yeah. So the first thing I have there is financial inclusion. So first of all, a lot of people don't even have, let's say, traditional banks at the end of the day, right? To, let's say, actually put in their money. It's kind of very much centralized. So there needs to be that ability to actually get a lot of people into the financial space. And it's actually one way to actually do this through the use of a lot of cryptocurrencies. And then remittances. A lot of you actually heard that you can't withdraw your USD now. I think the federal government actually did something about that. So what's the next bet, right? You guessed it right, stable coins. Do you understand? What if we could actually do that? I think about other cryptocurrencies or probably stable coins. If you actually had your money stored in value there, right? The government cannot actually have any rule that could actually make you not to use that particular digital asset, right? That's also one thing that could actually help, right? And then another thing, stability in the face of currency fluctuation. Of course, please, if the dollar is not, like, the dollar rate is not affecting in this room, can you raise your hand? So, yeah, so please, just out of curiosity, what's dollar right now to naira? It's up to 17. 16. Oh, okay. We are chasing 17. Maybe 2K, thank you. All right, so so imagine a situation whereby your currency is usually devalued, right? And you need to actually take your guard up and try as much as possible to protect your assets against inflation. This is actually something that could actually help with that, right? For instance, for someone like me that has actually been paid in crypto numerous times and all that, right? Whenever I'm always very, very happy when I convert my money to naira because the money is big. Do you understand? So you'll be like, oh my god, I have this money. Do you understand? So it's usually sweet, but at the end of the day, that does not mean it still does not affect you because when you get to the market, I want to buy a product you bought like 3 months ago, and then you added like probably 2K or 1K, you still shout. Or don't you? Like people are rich here. So, so, so you still shout, right? So because at the end of the day, this is not something you're actually used to. So I feel like it's also something why we should actually adopt it at the end of the day is that our currency is actually getting to a place whereby it's going to be very shitty, and then we need something to actually shield us against that. Then another thing, just like you mentioned, the young man over there mentioned, traceability, ability to even trace the funds, probably in a public domain. You could actually check when the transaction was being done, what it was used for, and every other thing. Yeah, that's also one thing. Another thing is, most importantly, it's actually being decentralized, right? It's more like nobody's actually in control of what you're actually going to do with the money or probably the digital asset. Just like banks, banks can actually use your money to do whatever they want to do, right? So basically, that's why adopting products, usable products in Africa is very, very important. So saying that already, I'll just, due to want of time, I'll just go over to the next thing. So thinking about adoption in Africa, right? According to Chainalysis, a blockchain forensics firm, Africa's cryptocurrency market grew by over 1,200% between 2020 and 2021. They added that 4 African countries ranked amongst the top 20 countries pushing for crypto adoption. These are Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, and Tanzania. I think according to statistics as well, right? Nigeria has been performing way, way awesome with regards to crypto. Even I think this data is actually kind of backdated as well, right? So why, if you check really well, why Nigeria is actually doing a lot of this is because of how our currency is, and then the ease of use, right? You could literally swap your currency. Let's say you have let's say for instance, for some people that use, let's say Quidax, right? You can literally swap your NGN, or let's say you have an NGN wallet, you get to swap it to USDT or USDC or whatever digital asset, be it Bitcoin as the case may be, right? And then also see the exchange rate, get a lot of baked fees at the back and every other thing, and then you get to convert that. And then whenever you want to convert it back to Naira, you do a swap again, right? So that's one of the reasons why these things are also possible. Then for Kenya, I think companies like Nuzo Coin, I don't know if anybody knows Nuzo Coin. So Nuzo Coin is actually a platform. It's more like a Conga, but you get to try as much as possible to use your coin to buy products on the platform, right? And then they set you with loyalty points, and then you have a lot of Nuzo coin that you can still use and buy other stuff. Basically, like just try as much as possible. I think Kenya is also doing a lot of amazing stuff um, with regards to adopting crypto. Then the next thing is that there are a couple of things we need to actually look at. Just to kind of ask a couple of questions again so that I'll really know whether everybody's still with me. So I wanted to ask, like, while building for, like, as devs or whatever career path you are in tech, if you're building, what are the things you actually factor in while you're building? Can anyone answer? Is there like something your product manager actually tells you to, oh, okay, these are the things you need to look at? Let's not just say crypto or anything. What are the things? Can anybody just probably let me know? Okay. All right.
I think as a builder, like generally as a builder, if you're trying to build a product, some important things that you actually need to consider is like who are you building it for? Like
Okay.
what exactly do you want them to use this product for? Because you might have like an idea of what you want the product to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then the people that are building it for are not thinking the same way. You might also want to think about like, the user experience. So like can people
Yes.
actually come to this platform and find their way around without you having to like put guides everywhere and all those kinds of things. You also want to consider like the income, the profit. Like, is this a profitable business, or are you building like an NGO application that you can just like build for like what do you call these things? Charity.
Charity,
Like, I mean,
yeah.
there's a lot of products that are built on charity, and then at the end of the day, you still make money. But like, you have to consider like how fast do you expect people to grow on this application. There's a bunch of things that you need to consider, but I'll say like just to summarize them all, the most important ones will probably be like the experience when people come to the application, not just the website, but like even when they try to go through like an experience on the application on the platform, they have like the right experience. You also want to think about like who is it that you're building it for, like what kind of people are they, where do they live, what do they do, and then how are they going to use the application. So I mean that's what I think. But that's not like an exhaustive list, obviously.
All right, brilliant. So he mentioned UX, the target market, and how, I mean, basically how people will actually use a product at the end of the day. Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right, thank you. As a DevOps engineer, I think if anybody is actually trying to build any products, the very first thing I will consider is just how scalable
Scalability.
is the product.
Awesome.
Scalability. And secondly, I think I will go with security.
Security.
Very, very important.
Okay, very important. So it's more like S square, right? Scalability and security. Love that. Any other person? Okay. So yeah, brilliant points actually made. Security, ease of use, which is actually UX. Scalability as well. Basically, these are the things you actually look at. But there's one thing I'm also looking at, but then I'll actually talk about that later. So basically, I kind of mentioned a couple of things that we need to also look at while we're actually trying as much as possible to build for Africa. I thought about policies, right? You think about compliance. The government actually brought out a couple of things with regards to how, should I say, digital assets are meant to be managed in Nigeria and everything, how digital asset companies are meant to actually, things that are meant to actually comply with, right? But basically, right, I wouldn't want to say anything about that, but then these are one of the things you actually consider. Then the next thing is literacy. What is the literacy level of the people you're also building for? You can understand that even just like Inka actually mentioned here, I don't know whether everybody here is actually from Web3, but then if you're hearing about EVMs for the first time, you might be actually confused, right? But then these are the things. So like literacy with regards to what we're used to in Web 2, it's already hard that a lot of people don't even have bank accounts, or probably people don't understand basic stuff. Then going a step further to actually build for crypto or block on the blockchain, right? That takes you further down to having a lot of literacy levels to actually understand what is actually being built out. Then the next one being ease of use, just like he mentioned the UX, right? So, but then I think there's a conversation actually going on with regards to compliance, actually making, trying to excuse the fact that UX cannot, compliance cannot be compromised, right? But that's why basically UX is not achieved in actually building digital assets or digital asset products, right? I think it's an ongoing conversation. So compliance is very, very important with regards to blockchain, right? So it's also something you actually have to look at, but then it's also important to make sure you actually balance that with ease of use. So the next thing is actually cultural differences based on demographics. If any of you have actually been to East Africa like me, you understand that a lot of people in Kenya, they love mobile money, right? So whatever you are trying to build in, you have to embed that into that, right? And we should actually try as much as possible to make sense with regards to how people might actually use it and understand it. Then you think about the environment you are in. What are people actually used to with regards to the environment you're trying to build as well? So that's another thing. So so knowing all this right now, just before I go to my last slide, what are the things? What do you understand, or what do you think? What are the synergies we need to actually keep in place to make sure, like, adoption is actually engineered? Let's say in Africa or in Nigeria per se. Can anyone? What are the collaborations we need to do? Or what do we have to actually do to actually make sure that a solution to actually getting adoption is actually being achieved? Okay. Awareness. Awesome. User education, kind of, right? Okay. Any other person? Okay. Getting influencers to market your product. Okay, I think that works. Yeah, very important. Influencers. Let's say Sydney Talk actually does something for you. I mean, like, you get a lot of outreach. Any other person? Okay.
Using the barriers to entry. So the ease of use is important.
Okay.
When people are using Web3 products, it's similar to what they are familiar with.
Of course, of course. So it's very much relatable and every other thing. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Brilliant. Any other person? Okay. Okay, compliance. So it needs to be compliant. Or awesome, awesome. Any other person? I think we even have enough. All right, awesome. So I just stated a couple of things that I feel like should be done to actually make this happen. So there needs to be a collaboration with industry players. I think the government have actually tried, made a good step to actually make that happen. I don't know how far that has gone. I don't know whether that's audio or not. But then, who said it's audio? I didn't say anything, no. So, so yeah, I don't know whether it's audio, by the way. But then, the government needs to actually sit on a roundtable with industry players and really, really show genuine concern for us to actually do this. Then the next thing is creating a seamless experience, more like improving UX and products. I think Yinka also talked about account abstraction or something like that, right? So account abstraction, trying to actually join everything together so that you just be using one medium to do whatever you're trying to do on the blockchain. And then the next one is phone as a wallet address, right? It's something I'm also thinking about. I think it's something that is already being experienced or experimented at the moment. So you use your mobile phone number as a wallet address, right? So I don't know whether that's compliant yet, but then yeah, of course, exactly. So basically, right? So trying as much as possible to use that. That could actually help as well. Then another one is just improving security because a lot of people, let's say the older generation, of course, they're actually very scared. A lot of people have been scammed from this. So trying as much as possible to show them that, oh, okay, this is something that we can actually improve the security, something like safe and secure, of course it is, right? That could also be a way to get to the solution part. Then create an awareness through targeted communities or user parks. I mean, Web3 Africa is already doing this. The Scroll community is already doing this. Just like you mentioned about creating awareness through influencers, I think it falls under that also. Then also creation of utilities around products. So I think it's one of the issues that we're currently having. A lot of people in Africa like freebies. Don't get me wrong. So that's why people like Nuzo is actually giving loyalty points, and then there are a lot of rewards with regards to should I say, airdrops and every other thing. So when you do that, there's a lot of adoption that actually comes in, right? But then try as much as possible to create utilities that are tied to whatever tokens or probably whatever digital assets you're actually building out. It's not something that will be seasonal. It has to be something that all year round, every period in time, people actually tie it to something very, very important. That's the only way we could actually achieve adoption to an extent, right? Then, of course, this is just my own personal thoughts. Introduction of digital currency or blockchain regulatory institutions for building out startups or companies and ensuring there is a set of steps to ensure that customer funds are safe, right? So it's also important to I think the last point is also connected to the first one as well, but it's very important to have institutions that actually guide people in the space very much. So I think this is just basically it. Nothing much. Why we should have the adoption happen. Of course, you need to. I talked about a couple of things, more like a recap right now. Financial inclusion, remittances, stability in the face of currency fluctuation. Like I said, I'm sure dollar increase is actually affecting all of us. So you need to actually shield yourself from that. That's why we need to adopt this. Traceability with regards to reducing corruption. Um, then we also talk about the things to consider. We're talking about policy, literacy levels, ease of ease of use with regards to UX, cultural differences and environment. And then for this, we have governmental collaboration with industry players, um, seamless UX, like I mentioned initially, security, awareness, utility creation, and then more collaboration with the government. I think with this, I come to the end of my presentation. Thank you so much, guys. And take questions from you.
That was a very nice presentation. Yeah. But like, I just have like a question. So, like, what do you say to like government policies that seem to change simply because of the product? So it's like when your product is prime, the government just comes out like this policy is just for me, and then you like fashion it, and then they just come up with that same another policy and attacking your product, you know that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like, what do you say to that kind of thing? I know a lot of guys just decide not to build for the African market anymore because like forget this guys. They're gonna build their own thing. So like, what do you say to that kind of thing?
Okay. Okay. So for me, with regards to that, I think that happens a lot of times. Just like what they did with USD. I think a lot of startups or probably their ideas are probably dead. So what I would say with regards to that is that that's why it's also important. I think we need to get to a point whereby people that work in startups could actually create rules that are just targeted to understanding um, when policies are about to be changed or probably work with government officials. I think Flutterwave has a position like that. I can't remember what it's called. I think CRO. Okay. I think it's CRO, Chief Regulatory Office or something like that. Somebody that has had experience working in the government and everything. And when that happens, you wouldn't be caught unawares. But in a case whereby what you said actually usually happens, there's something that people usually do. They end up leaving Nigeria to probably or registering their companies in another country where the environment is kind of favorable, or they probably go back to the drawing board, you understand, to maybe tweak a couple of things and then start building, right? Because I usually tell people that you're just one policy away from being closed down as a startup in Nigeria, right? It's that crazy, right? You understand? But then at the end of the day, you need to have a team that literally is ready to actually go back to the drawing board and iterate on the product you're building, and then most importantly, try as much as possible to find a way to really collaborate with the government with regards to a couple of policies that are incoming. I think that's it for me. Unless Japa.
All right, so I just want to add to the answer. So while as lawyers, one thing we've seen is that developers build, right? So when they are done building, that's when they start thinking about things. Okay. So you are done building your product. That's when you say, it's true, I'm done building this my product. Let me now see the advice. So and if the product is done, then that's when the lawyer start telling you that no, now you can't do this, you can't do that. And then before you know, you run to Delaware, you go and register your company in Delaware. You understand?
Wait, sorry, a lawyer, right?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
So the idea is why you are conceptualizing, right? You have this your legal. You can have you don't need to get expensive friends. Have lawyers that are your friends. You get how far now? How to do this thing? What do you think? You get really good advice on the side, but you also get really good advice on the side. And then you ask, oh, you don't do that. So there's this new thing that just came out, and you can't just run with it now. Do you understand? So you just we put all these things into consideration so that you don't break down, and then keep breaking down.
Please, if you're building, just meet him more so that. Okay.
Right, I get it. So let me just put some comments on what you said and then give like some context to what happened regulatory wise. So you're doing your stuff. One thing I always tell people or investors to do is don't look at your own living environment as your first market. You understand? So yes, you might have regulatory governments Nigeria or Africa, but look at other markets as well. I'm speaking to people who are building solutions on the blockchain. And they're asking me, "Oh, are you doing for Africa first?" I'm like, "No, I'm doing for jurisdictions whereby my product can be sold or can be accessible by citizens." And so think of that first. Then back home to Nigeria, trust me, there are a couple of guys, a couple of people who are directly working with government already. So as a matter of fact, I know people who are directly working with CBN right now, and and the finance guys, the finance guys, to make sure that blockchain regulation is as smooth as possible. So
Okay,
these
awesome.
guys don't know anything. Trust me, they don't know anything. They don't know anything. And the only way they can actually know something by working with people like us. So I would just advise everybody like, as much as possible, try to educate. Don't go through the hype wave. Be very, very like come down to earth. Don't tell everybody, oh, you can make money. Don't start from there, please.
Important.
Let them know that look, this is like a new way to do something that we've seen before. We already had money before. But now they're saying, how can we spend money on the internet?
Very important. Yeah.
So that's the way to approach it. So regulatory wise, like he said, even if those have a layer friend, follow publications that speak to regulatory stuff. There's Marigold there's Tech about all these guys that speak to news or regulation stuff. So you can follow. I used to it as well, but you get like so. Just do all of that. Don't live in your own silo and don't think of Nigeria first, Africa first as your product. Think of other markets. And now today you can even easily like launch your product. Like I have a friend who's launching for Kenya first in Nigeria. Like he's launching for Kenya first because why? Kenya already has regulatory like status called
place, yeah.
already. Nigeria is still unclear. So it's going to Kenya where it's already clear there. And it's going to be as a Nigeria guy. Yeah, and they're like, oh wow, you're welcome and collaborating. So think of where there's already clarity. Work with that first. And then for the people back home here, speak as many people as possible. Help them. Yes. When I mean people do anything, they don't even know how to buy you. That's how bad it is. They don't know how it works. Trust me.
Wow.
They don't know how to buy you. In their heads, they think people are using dollars to buy you.
That's crazy.
They think people are buying dollars.
Wow.
And going dollars to buy you. They don't know that you can go to a board, put in your naira, and you can swap. They don't know that. That's how bad it is. So it's when people like us speak to them, let them understand that look, we are not trying to divide the currency. We only want to make money easy to send and receive. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you for that, man. Okay, I think that will be all. Thank you guys to all contributors, everybody that listened. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.